Hello everyone, this is Overmind and welcome back to another StarCraft 2 replay cast. Today I have a treat for you from the Bronze League, but first let me go ahead and introduce our players. Spawning on the bottom left side of the map, in blue, our Protoss player, Nille, and his lovely shiny probes. And spawning at the top right side of the map, in red, we have our other Protoss player from Dawn 3. It is cicciobar. Now, I want to go ahead and preface this by saying that this game was actually submitted to me as a replay analysis game, which, for those of you who are unfamiliar, those are actually games in which we try and look at replays and tell players how to improve. I want to go ahead and note this pylon here. It'll be important eventually. But since this game was submitted to me by someone who has already told me he's out of the Bronze League and that, looking back on this game, he just views it as a game that is objectively bad, but still something he's kind of proud of from his time in the Bronze League, I don't necessarily want to look at it to help him improve, because he's already out of the Bronze League, and this game actually represents an excellent story, and that is a story of two people who are so like-minded that they both decide to cannon rush. It's a story of two players doing the same things and struggling to win in the Bronze League. That's right, Bronze League, I don't miss you. I no longer miss you. This is exactly the sort of nonsense that PvP would hold in the Bronze League. So here we have forges done, or just about done, there we go, for both players. We have the first proxy pylons going down, and we have some probes mightily struggling to make sure that this pylon dies. There's actually too many probes for them all to attack. There's one who's just stuck circling around the outside. They're going to go ahead and try and take down this cannon, and it does indeed die. No cancels going down. cicciobar is not that kind of person. If he's going to cannon rush, if he's going to cheese, he's going to commit to it. And these probes, heroically fighting down... Oh look, that cannon did get cancelled. Strengthen your resolve, cicciobar. These probes are going to go ahead and fight to the death with these buildings, which look like they're going to fall pretty easily, and they should probably have their own kill count. Meanwhile, in cicciobar's base, there's another cannon rush taking place. Nille is setting up his first cannon now. He's hiding it out of the way. It's undetected. We'll see how that goes in a moment. In the meantime, cicciobar, having retreated for the moment, has come back to the base and is placing down another pylon. But they're scouting. And I know this is not a replay analysis video. There are things that are going wrong here, but the important thing is the story. We've just seen a player who has probably only recently learned to scout because they're in the Bronze League, and that's not a thing that people do there, who has scouted out several proxy pylons and is in fact going to go for the kill versus this one foreign probe, and then possibly again try and kill off this building. In the meantime, we have this proxy cannon rush nonsense just being spotted by one unlucky scouting probe on this side of the map. These probes, in a confusion, in a flurry, are unsure of what to do. They try running out of the base. They try running in. They're not sure if they should engage this directly, or what exactly should we mine? What do we do here? I guess we'll mine. I guess we'll try and mine. Meanwhile, I want to go ahead and note this probe here. cicciobar's lone probe, in case his original probe is killed, just going to go ahead and hang out over here. Meanwhile, his other probes are distracted with the bigger troubles than the lone probe's solemn, vigilant watch of the expansion. Nille's going to go ahead and continue this cannon rush. And suddenly, cicciobar's probes are angry. They come in, they attack Nille's probe, they kill it. And they go back to mining. No! No, they can kill the cannon. They know they can do this. They have faith in themselves. They kill the cannon! Now, during all of the hustle and bustle of this, we have cicciobar, who's just going to go ahead and expand over here. He's not too worried about his original base. He's just going to go ahead and make himself a new base. It was about time to expand anyway, so it's not really a huge problem. The thing that I think he's doing that is really intelligent is he's going to go ahead and set up at least one gateway so that he can start making units that aren't buildings. And units that aren't buildings, for those of you in the Bronze League who still cannon rush, are actually pretty great when you get the handle over them. I mean, cannon rushes can be devastating, but they're very tricky, and players do actually learn to fend this off later on as you head on up the league, so having units is actually a great addition to your army. You have photon cannons going down and being cancelled. However, the important thing is that Nille has a new probe that he has sent since his original probe was killed. He's going to go ahead and continue this cannon rush. We see the evacuation of many of cicciobar's probes. Few left to mine gas over here where it's safe for the moment. The rest of them are going to be transferred down to this new base. A new main, if you will, or at least it will be once those cannons kick in if he doesn't do something about it. I want to go ahead and note that Nille has decided to take his own natural expansion because he wants to keep up that economy, which is good. But that probe I mentioned earlier, the lone vigilant probe, he has a surprise, and that surprise is a cannon rush. Or I don't even know if it's a cannon rush at this point. At this point it's sort of a cannon push? I don't know. In any case, he's got cannons hitting this brand new natural that Nille just put up. However, on the other side of the map, cicciobar's old main, as we shall call it from now on, is actually also going to be taken out by cannons. And much laughter happens. And then some lag, and a pause, and nice, good manners. You can actually tell that this is a great game, because both players are being super nice and polite to each other. Now, as we have this base slowly falling to the only cannon that's in range of it, we have a large number of Nille's probes, or at least a number of Nille's probes, going over to this base here for reasons. To be quite honest, if I were Nille, I would probably just go ahead and expand here on the grave of my opponent, because it's a very nice base after all. And he does have cannon protection, at least on one side of it. But he's gonna take this one. He decided that this was the real estate to invest in, and he's gonna go ahead and long distance mine with some of the probes to that base. This one probe is actually gonna stay here and mine from this base until its demise. He's a very loyal probe. And back in his main, he has 3 gateways up and going. He also has a cyber core that he's throwing down. So both players, you can see that there's several gateways that have come up here. Both players are investing in units, or at least buildings that they can use to make units later. We do have warp gate research almost done for cicciobar, and for those Protoss players out there, warp gate is a pretty great thing. Hopefully we'll see him warp these gates open and have him produce some units soonish. Do want to note that this pylon is very precarious. We do have this nice Artosis pylon here, but that's fine. It's going to be okay, because after all, Nille doesn't know where it is. His new base is up and running. His main base actually still exists and is being filled out with a whole new squad of gateways. His pylon spread is not incredibly great either, given that just a couple pylons power these gateways, but that's fine. It's actually okay. This base has fallen, though this one probe does vigilantly long-distance mine from that mineral patch. That is still safe. And a cannon is being built to kill this assimilator. It's very important that it dies. Now, both players actually have a pretty decent amount of money going on. And one of the reasons that that might be important is that they both keep making cannons. And if you have money, you can build cannons. The other reason it's important is because they can do pretty much anything else. If they wanted to add on, say, a whole bunch more gateways and build a bunch of zealots, well, that'd be fine. Nille is actually going to go ahead and spend his money. Looks like he's making probes and 8 zealots, which is going to really push the army value in favor of Nille. He actually is a bit late on his warp gate research, not chrono boosting it, but that's okay. He's going to go ahead and get an upgrade. There you go, Nile, that's right. And put either a proxy pylon or a pylon so that he can cannon rush on the high ground, depending on how he's feeling. We'll see how it goes. The supply is heavily favoring Nile at this point, but we do see some stalkers over here for cicciobar. I know it's not likely, but it is possible to micro stalkers very well versus zealots, especially zealots without charge, so we'll see what happens there. Looks like cicciobar is a bit supply blocked, does not have enough pylons. Really could probably afford to make a whole ton of pylons and never get supply blocked again in this game, but that's gonna be okay. We have a probe coming on up. Oh no, no, he's not gonna get killed by the stalkers. He's actually going to go ahead and scout the base that he killed with cannons, which he should have pretty good vision of. They actually both should know that there's a base up and running for the other player. We have stalkers trying to move up the ramp. Definitely want to keep those zealots so that the stalkers don't get vision. But he's actually going to be able to warp these in right here at his cannon push, and put some pressure on Nile. That's going to be kind of bad. You see a large number of stalkers coming up. Looks like he's still building from the gateways, and his research isn't quite done, so that he can really do too much about that. Oh, the tragic split splits two stalkers apart from his pack. On the other side, now cicciobar can't really push up that base until that goes away, which it does, but well, there you have it. Single zealot runs down alone to scout. Probably not the best plan in the history of anything, but that's fine. It's actually okay, because now Nile does know sort of what's down there, which is a lot of stalkers and a sentry, versus a decent number of stalkers and a decent number of zealots. I'm gonna go ahead and check this out for the moment. See, the army supply is actually heavily in favor of Nile. I know that he has an upgrade. Is it finished? Looks like he got... yeah, so he got 001, essentially. So he does have an upgrade up on his opponent. He could probably go ahead and make these warp gates, which would be really good, but that's actually okay. And he could realistically just take these out. Looks like we do have a pylon here over by cicciobar's gateways, but it's gonna go ahead and be killed. This pylon either could be for warp-ins or, as I suspect, for more cannons. There's a fight down here, moving on to the low ground, as Nile does kill all of those units, and wisely decides not to really bother too much with this. I mean, there is the added danger of warp-ins with that pylon. Could probably deal with it pretty trivially, but there's no need to if he just kills cicciobar. And many a G's were typed. Good game, good game, good game, over and over. Nile stays in the game for a moment to go ahead and watch his army destroy these buildings. And there we have it. A Bronze League, double cannon rush, double re-expand to different bases, and finally, the making units. The player without Warp Gate, or with Warp Gate, but who didn't use it, actually did wind up winning. And that is a good game. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much to Nile, who did submit this game. Didn't want to say it at the start, because I didn't want to give away who won. Lots of people who submit games are also the winners of those games, so might have to start keeping that under my hat a little bit. But Nile, you should be proud. This was very entertaining, and of course you did win, so good job on that. Cicciobar, don't feel bad. Everyone gets cannon rush sometimes. It's okay. Alright, if you want to see me cast one of your games, go ahead and send it to noobcrafted@gmail.com. That's NoobCrafted. Thanks so much for watching this silly game with me, guys, and have a good night.